Happy New Year. Listen, it is Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, means that it is real money coach time, and we are excited. Listen, I just want to say one more time, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022. This is going to be the best year of your life. If you don't believe it, it ain't going to happen. I'm believing it. I'm believing that 2022 is going to be the best year ever. Wherever you're watching from, whether you're watching from the West Coast, East Coast, North, South, wherever you're watching the show from, put in the chat box where you are watching from. We are excited that you're here. This is the first show of 2022. We're going to jump right into it. I'm going to bring out my co-host, my ace boon coon, my girl from way back in the day, my wife's best friend, and you guys know her as Michelle Mitchell. Michelle, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Tony?
Happy New Year. I think this is the first time I've seen you in the new year, right?
That is true. That is true.
I saw you right up to the end of last year. You hanging out here in Charlotte with us.
Yes.
And so back in Kalamazoo, and I heard it is cold.
It's cold, man. I think we're going to be at 0 like wind chill this week. So
wow.
Yeah.
Kimberly, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us from Charlotte, North Carolina. So happy New Year to you as well. Listen, we have a phenomenal guest, and she just kind of carved out some time to come be with us. She has another obligation at 8:30. But Michelle, I posed this question in my email that went out, social media post. And I said, well, I'm just going to Google it, right? Dr. Benita Harris, thank you for being here. I Googled this. The number one reason small businesses fail. And what do you think was coming up on the list?
Cash flow, baby.
Cash flow, right? Cash
not
flow.
Not enough funding to start.
Not enough funding.
Yeah. Not enough funding.
Cash flow, lack of capital, lack of funding. Those were the number one reasons small businesses fail. Now,
and they don't have an expert to help them.
They don't have what?
An expert to help them.
They don't have an expert to help them. Well, guess what? That ends today. That ends today, because we got an expert that can help them and help people get their businesses off. And, you know, we just try to do this thing by our bootstraps. And sometimes, you know, you don't scale. You don't have, you got to, well, you're a big believer in investing in your business, right? You got to invest in your business. You got to put a little money there. You got to put a little capital in it if you want it to grow. And so we wanted to start off the new year with just that topic, you know, getting funding for your business, your dream, your purpose, your passion that you want to turn into what? Tell me, Michelle.
Profit. Yeah.
Profit. Bridge the gap. So bridge the gap. Bridge the gap between your purpose and your profit, your passion and your profit. And so sometimes you need some resources to do that.
Right.
And the reason why a lot of us fail, a lot of small business fails, because they don't have those resources.
Right.
So listen, we want everyone to make sure that you share this in your on your Facebook page and all these type of things. Get people, anybody you know, business owner, tell them they got 2 minutes to get online to check out the Real Money Coach, Facebook, YouTube, however you want to do it, because we're going to bring something that's going to help them tonight. We're going to bring something that's going to be tangible, that they can, you know, go back and look at this recording and say, I got something on that night that could transform my business.
Yes.
And take it to another level. Stop playing around. We got to stop playing business, right?
You got to stop playing.
You know how we do when you're little, you play house, right? And you play. No, it's time to stop playing house. It's time to stop playing business and start to think big, go big, and all those type of things. So because we have limited time, I am going to bring our guest on out. Let me tell you who it is. It's Dr. Inga Johnson. And I was introduced to her. I can't remember how I was introduced to her. But when I met her for the first time in person at an event called Flex Charlotte, saw her again in Greenville at an event called Flex Greenville. She might can tell a little bit about that. But I was like, wow, what a dynamite person and her energy and what she does, being an expert in it. Because Michelle, we like hanging around people who are expert in their field.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's who we want to be with, right?
Yeah.
Alice Martin, Happy New
Yeah.
Year to you as well. So without any further ado, let me bring Dr. Inga Johnson on. She's a funding expert, a master success coach, and founder of Dr. Inga International. All right, let's go. Dr. Inga,
Hello.
welcome to the Real
Welcome.
Money Coach Live.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here. We're excited about the information you're going to share. I already know that this is a show, a recording that I will take and send it to people as I run into them, as we do our consulting, as we're working with people and all that type of thing. So this is going to be a great resource tonight. I already know it, already claim it. This is something that we're going to just put in the favorites and be able to send this link to people and say, you got to check this out, Dr. Inga. All right. So that's the goal tonight. So Dr. Inga, just tell us real quickly about you and your journey and how you got to where you are and all that kind of good stuff.
Great. Well, thank you again, Tony and Michelle, for extending an opportunity for me to come on the Money Coach broadcast. I am honored to be able to share with you all. Well, my journey is over 20 plus years. I actually started as a loan processor and matriculated from a loan processor to a loan officer to a branch manager. And then we all know the story when the market crashed and I was favored to purchase an actual commercial funding business. And I set it to the side for a while. And then life and I guess destiny and purpose just allowed me to pull it off the shelf. And we've been helping individuals, startups, entrepreneurs, small businesses, faith-based organizations, and nonprofits get access to working capital untraditionally. And so it is an absolute honor for me to be able to travel all over the world and introduce these type of business funding programs and even coach aspiring entrepreneur startups and small business owners on what's available and why it's available, especially when we talk about the difference between getting funding from a local bank and those qualifications versus, funding based on one particular stipulation or qualification. And so that's kind of like my journey, all in, I would say, a 30 to 60 second sizzle.
But you hit on some things I think is so important in being entrepreneur for 24 years. It's always tough sometimes when you're 1099, you're entrepreneur, and not we hear about like barbers and beauty shops are cash flow businesses. You can see that, but for a lot of businesses, it's kind of tough to get financing and get funding. And you mentioned you started off as a loan officer, so kind of tell us a little bit about how traditional funding works, and then we can kind of shift around and talk about what are some other alternative ways that a business can be funded.
Sure. Well, we talked about it earlier that one of the top 5 reasons why businesses fail in the first 5 years is because of lack of working capital. And to take that further, it's not just lack of working capital, it's lack of knowing what type of funding is available or what type of working capital is available. And so, unfortunately, the traditional banks just don't make it easy. And a lot of times people are intimidated to even apply. And then when they do apply, they're automatic turn downs and it becomes frustrating. And so before you know it, a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners fall into a category of what I call bootstrapping entrepreneurs or bootstrapping small business owners. Bootstrapping simply means those individuals that self-sustaining their business out of their pocket. as a result of just from profits that they actually make from their business and lack of resources, lack of access. And so, for the last 10 years, my mission is to make individuals aware and let you know that, listen, there is no lack in working capital. The problem is we just don't know where to get the working capital. And tonight is going to be the night where we'll be able to expose to this audience and make them aware of what is available untraditionally. You asked me the question, what's the difference between traditional funding and untraditional funding? Well, traditional funding is simply funding that comes from your local banks and or an SBA loan. And all of those have high stipulations, high qualifications. Not only do they want you to have a credit score of 720 or higher, they're going to look at your financials personally. They're going to look at your business financials. Oftentimes, they want it to be collateralized. And then they will prefer for that loan request to be at least 5 million. And y'all are like, what? Because the reality is, what's considered small business lending, it through the lens of local banks is 5 million and up. Okay. And most entrepreneurs and small business owners, they would love to have that amount, but they don't qualify because it's not just that they want you to have a personal financials and business financials and a credit score. All of those have other guidelines underneath. Okay. And so that's traditional lending. Untraditional lending, which is what I'm so excited about, are make sense to small business owners and entrepreneur funding. For an example, there are funding programs that's just based on the strength of one's credit untraditionally. You know, you could get 25 to 250,000 with no proof of income, no proof of employment, no collateral. If all three scores are the 650, right? And then you can get another type of loan just based off of your ability to prove that your business generate at least $6,000 a month, no credit check. Okay, and then there are other programs, the collateralized loans that we help people with, of course, are the commercial funding. Our commercial funding, they don't care about your financials. If your score is a 650, and then we have real estate investment funding that will give you money to purchase and money to rehab those distressed properties. And then lastly, the power of understanding business credit and understanding that you can get a company car in your business name with no personal guarantor, no credit check, no proof of financial, and no collateral. Okay, I'm going to stop. That's the difference.
Wait a minute. You done said a
Dr.
whole
Inga is
mouthful.
excited. I know,
Huh?
right? I said Dr. Inga is excited, and I'm
Dr.
like,
Inga is about to come out of her chair. Listen. Now, but this is needed because there's
yes.
so many businesses that have gone the traditional route, been turned down. Oh, I mean, even when we think about PPP money and the IDL loans, they couldn't even get those because of banking relationships or lack of banking relationships, lack of having the proper paperwork. Now we're not advocating that you don't get your paperwork, get your stuff fixed up, right?
Yeah.
Get your stuff fixed up.
Correct.
But if you need to scale, I mean, there's a couple things that you talked about. One of the things I want to ask about real quick though is the startup business. The person who has a small business or they have an idea and they want to launch that business. What can happen for them? Because a lot of times, and I think with the traditional lending, I mean, you got to go in and like you said, you got to have 3 years of reporting and all those types of things. So what about the startup business? And I see Caroline Barbosa in Fresno, California, startup business. So how can what you do help with that startup business? Just getting from idea to getting actually in the marketplace.
Sure. One of the things that I do for my clients and for affiliates at large is I'm starting to do a lot of business funding coaching. And the more you know, the better off you'll be. Okay. And let me just state this in short, based on time. Uh, if that startup credit is strong, and what I mean by strong, all three scores 650 with no lates or collections in the last 12 months, um, no foreclosures in the last 3 years, and no bankruptcies in the last 5 years. You can qualify to get anywhere from 25,000 to 250,000, and it funds in 3 to 15 days.
What?
They don't care about your business history. Number one. Okay. That's a startup. That's a funding program for a startup. Another funding program for the startup is what I recommend, that every business, whether you are a startup or an existing business, I recommend that every business start working on their business credit building.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a very strong business credit builder program, because um, you can get accounts with companies and stores that report to the three business credit bureaus. And at the end of that program, again, you can get a company car, maybe $10,000 to $30,000 in business credit cards with no credit check, no personal guarantor, and no collateral. And people say, well, I want more money. Listen, when you understand the value and the importance of what I call the OPM theory, other people's money, just being able to leverage credit, whether it's store credit or cash credit, it's going to always, and you all know this, it's going to always save money out of your pocket.
Mhm.
So for an example, if you need to purchase $5,000 worth of products or services or whatever you might need, in doing that, if you can go ahead and do that on credit, then guess what? You can keep that $5,000 in your pocket and put it in marketing and doing things. So to recap, for those individuals that are startups, my recommendation is our quick funding program that's based on credit score, and then of course the business credit builder.
Now, one of the things I want you to do, Dr. Inga, and I have the advantage of sitting here and having heard you talk before, but you use an example of Walmart in terms of uh, OPM, right? And I think that's a really good example. I'd love for you to kind of just break that down real quickly, because it makes so much sense when you do that. And the other thing is, Carolyn Barbosa said, where, and I think she's in California, right? So I think her question has to do with geographically, what geographical areas do you work in?
Okay.
And so just those couple things.
All right, where? Anywhere in the United States of America. So Caroline, we can help. So these programs work anywhere in the United States of America. Number one, OPM theory. 80% of every private and public owned business use what I call other people's money. They use credit. For an example, Walmart. We all know about Walmart. 80% of the items that is on the shelf, they don't pay for out of their pocket. They have accounts with those products. So I use Scott paper towels. Okay. Scott paper towels. All right. What will happen is Walmart will get an account net 30 terms with Scott paper towels. Net 30 means that it would allow them to order and pay the invoice 30 days later. Okay. All right. And then, of course, they're going to report to their business credit bureaus. What people need to understand is, just like you personally have 3 credit scores, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Your business have 3 credit scores, corporate Experian, corporate Equifax, and Duns and Bradstreet Paydex, which is your Paydex score. Okay, so what happens is Walmart will order Scott paper towels from Scott. All right, they'll put them on the shelf. We go to Walmart and we purchase those Scott paper towels. What does Walmart do? They take our money, pay the invoice, pocket the profit, and do it all over again. Mm-hmm. And then Scott Paper Towels is reporting to the 3 different business credit bureaus. So their business credit, which has nothing to do with their personal credit, it doesn't even show up on their personal credit, and they're moving all over again. And that's what they're doing. That's how they're leveraging their capital. I do want to state this before I go, because I need everybody to understand. I want to insert this, that nothing is free. Nothing is free, and everybody have to pay to play. You have to pay to play. All right. And so everyone starts out somewhere. So I want to preface this and basically let you know that when it comes to business funding, right? While for many of the programs, the quick credit funding program, hey, again, you'll be able to get those funds. It will come in the form of multiple revolving lines of credit. For an example, someone may qualify for $200,000. Well, instead of getting one loan, I'm educating you all. You all need to check this, and you really need to understand it, because this is how wealthy people live. All right, this is how wealthy people build wealth and legacy through business credit funding. I'm going to say that again, because Tony, I know this is what you do, and now we have an accountant on. So, once I finish and I get everybody all this money, y'all need to go see all of them. You need to see Tony, so he can tell you how to take 50,000 of that 200,000 and quadruple over time. And you need to see Michelle, so you don't go to jail with this money. All right. So we have a phenomenal team tonight, but I need you all to understand how wealthy people move in the business world. I'm going to preface this also and state that at this moment, I'm only talking to movers and shakers. I'm only talking to movers and shakers that have a mindset to understand and see the bigness of what I'm getting ready to share with you. All right. So another thing that wealthy people do, what do? They get up in the morning, they drink their coffee, they get their tea, right? They do that. And they say, what am I going to buy today? What am I going to invest in today? What am I going to flip today? And they go to their accounting, and they have multiple accounts. They have multiple lines of credit. They have multiple loans. They have multiple credit cards. All of them are considered banks. All of them are considered banks, whether it's a credit card, whether it's a line of credit, whether it's a loan. In their mind, it's a bank. It's capital. They look and see what the interest rate is, if there's any perks to it, because sometimes these credit cards come with 0% interest for the first 6 to 18 months. It just depends. And so what they do is they take money from one and they purchase, and then they use money from another and pay the bill. Mm-hmm. And they never use their money. Okay, so when it comes to the quick funding program, you're not going to get one loan because it's on your personal credit. You're not going to get one loan for $200,000. It will tank your credit score because it's a high balance. That's not what they want to do. They're trying to help you. So what they'll do is they may give you 4 or 5 lines of credit. It might be credit cards. If your credit is strong, it might be a loan, credit cards, lines of credit. Why? So that you can move money from one to the next, so that you can maintain balances, so that you can have access to revolving lines of credit on a regular basis, because the reality is most entrepreneurs and small business owners are creatives, right? So while you're working on one idea, you're focused, you're strategizing 10 other ideas, Tony. Okay, I'm not going to call you out tonight, right? So what happens is, instead of them giving you one loan that will tank your credit, they'll give you 4 or 5 lines of credit so that you can use them over and over again. There is on the quick funding where you get 3 to 15, you get it in 3 to 15 days. There's a 20% consultant fee. It's business consulting. You write that off on your taxes.
Exactly.
Again, Michelle for that. Okay. But listen, you pay to play. What bank are you going to be able to walk into and get that kind of money? Let me tell you what wise people do. If you get 200,000, you close your eyes, you pay the 20%. Put $20,000 or $30,000 to the side just to pay the bills for the next year, and use the rest of the money to generate revenue.
Preach.
OPM.
Preach.
Yeah.
OPM. Y'all, so when people hear,
Yes.
oh, it's 20%, I'm like, hey, OPM. I'm screaming OPM.
Right.
It will never affect you.
Right.
And the reality is, if you ever want to get to the point to where you can get over $1 million, hear me, and uncollateral money, they're going to look and see what you've been able to manage on your personal credit to determine it. Let me just say this. I was telling a friend of mine, she does a lot of luxury. She does credit restoration and credit preparation for like NBA players, the ballers, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, what's your goal? And I said, in 2022, I want a Bentley and a house. I want a house and a Bentley. All right. Well, I'm all right now, but I want a house and a Bentley. And so she said, well, you got a Jag now, but before you can get a Bentley, you have to show that you had a Mercedes or a Maserati. Like, in other words, you can have an 800 credit score, Dr. Inga, but if you can't prove that you managed paying for $100,000 car, they're not going to finance you for a $200,000 car.
Right.
So I need everybody to be open and understand that whatever the bank give you as it relates to unsecured funds, get it. Come back 6 months later. Let's get on a plan. Let's get on. Let's do some coaching and get you in motion and in movement of being able to get those black cards, uncollateral money. But the reality is, all wealthy people started here.
Right.
You got to start. You got to start.
have to start here. Okay.
Right.
You have to start here, because you're not going to be able to walk in your local bank and they not ask for your financials, your income, and collateral.
Where you gonna go and do that?
Where you gonna go and do that?
So, Dr. Inga, I know we're coming up on 8. We at 8:30, right? So already 8:30. But on the StreamYard, you see a private chat over there. Just put in your information so that Chris can pull that out, so that people can know how to get. And y'all can contact info at the Real Money Coach. You already know that. You already know you can contact info at the Real Money Coach. We'll get you hooked up. But I know you also do a meeting on Tuesdays at 9 that's open to the public. Am I correct?
Yes. So at 9 o'clock, we do it
at the
like
end of
9
show.
tonight. Yeah,
Okay.
like 9 tonight. At 9 tonight, we're going to be doing a presentation on business funding on Zoom. Tony, you have that information. It was texted to you.
I got it.
Okay, so I'm good, because I have to train. I actually have a team. I'm training there in Hawaii and all over the world, and so they're probably waiting on me. But so 2 things. If you're interested in funding, please get the information from Tony. Join on that Zoom. There'll be Q&A. Okay. For those of you that want to schedule a consultation with me about funding, Tony has my link to schedule an appointment. So definitely go through Tony. He has the link I've set up exclusively for you all, that's connected to him. All right. So Tony, if you would share That link with those individuals that want to have a consultation about business funding, we'll be more than happy to do that. And if you could make that schedule available to them. Can I go?
Absolutely.
I gotta
getting it
go.
out there now.
Dr. Inga, thank you.
Hey, you done came in a little fire. Now you go.
Right.
Now you gotta
Now
go.
you
You
go
ain't
deep.
even
She
gonna
was like,
stand around and put the
deuces.
fire out.
Thank y'all so
Hey,
much.
I appreciate you, and we'll get the information out to everybody. And
we just have to do it again, Tony. We just have to do it again.
We're gonna do it again. We're gonna have this on iHeartRadio as well. So we're gonna roll. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And I think some folks gonna be jumping over there at 9 o'clock tonight. I got a feeling. I got this feeling, Michelle, that we're gonna have some people jump on over there.
We got to be done, Tony. We can't be talking. But listen, audience, really. So I was thinking this year as I'm working on my goals and stuff, God promised us to give us what we desire, right? And I just feel like the knowledge imparted in this show in particular can help you collapse time. And what I mean by that is that the knowledge that's imparted here, if we take action, can collapse time. So some of you may be thinking, well, the time has passed, or I'm too old, or listen, girl, dudes too, y'all too. It ain't too late. As long as you got breath in your body, it ain't too late. But the knowledge that's imparted here will collapse time. That means you can do things faster and quicker than if you just try to figure it out on your own. And you got to invest into other people to help you get to where you want to go. So now is the time to collapse time. And I know the rest of the month we're talking about cryptocurrency and all that kind of stuff to build wealth. We have been talking as African Americans about generational wealth. Like I've been hearing about it practically my whole life. It is time now. Like we can't wait. So that's all I got to say. Sorry. Get off my soapbox.
Michelle, you fired up tonight.
She got me fired up.
She got you fired up. Now, listen, I mean, because it is so important. And like I said, when I did that, just that simple Google, why are most businesses failing? Yeah. There was one thing, though, it came in, it said a couple things that you just hit on. It talked about the lack of cash flow, right? Lack of funding, lack of passion, right?
Yeah.
Lack of having a business plan. And those type of things. Y'all, we just put in the chat box. You guys probably can see it. That is the meeting Zoom link for tonight. It's Zoom, and the meeting ID is 980-245-4605. That's on Zoom at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Jump over there and get the. As you saw, she just dropped by for a few minutes, and she really dropped some knowledge on us. So Michelle, tell me what did she say that really sparked you? And I love what some of the comments are here. People said this is great information. Thank you, Dr. Inga, for awesome information. Wow, great information. We got SK Accounting Services. Please send me Dr. Inga's information. So we got a lot of people that are very interested in getting this information. So Michelle, tell me what stood out to you. Let's kind of unpack this a little bit for a few minutes, and then we're gonna actually get off early, y'all. Let y'all get something to drink, go to the bathroom, and if you want, jump over to that Zoom meeting because we might jump over there ourselves, right? So, exactly. So Michelle, what you think? What really struck you?
So what really struck me is, she's passionate. So I know she gets results for people because she's so passionate about it because she presented it that way. 2, she empowered people with information. Just a tidbit, and sometimes you can hear a tidbit, then it's up to you to take the action on it, right? So she's telling you that these things are available to you. And even me and my knowledge, like I'm in the financial industry, but I don't know a lot about, acquiring non-traditional funding for businesses. But I know that the lack of funding or the lack of access to funding is where our people perish. And for my firm, you have to be making money for us to help you. Like we
Mm.
can help a startup, and we can point you in the direction where you need to go. But until your idea, you have sold your idea enough that you can make money on it, we really can't help you until that happens.
Well,
And
and basically what you're saying, Michelle, is that you got to get to the point where you can afford a Mitchell Consulting, right?
exactly.
You got to get to the point where
Yeah.
this is not a thought, this is not a hobby, this is not
No.
something, this is not a side hustle.
This is not a side hustle.
Right.
Exactly.
You're for
Yeah.
real in business. And that
Right.
means that you have some capital and now you can go and do some things
Right.
that the jackleg mechanic can't.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the thing about it is, when you do that, you can collapse time.
Mm.
When you bring in the expert that you need for your business, you can collapse time. You can jump leaps and bounds in 1 year.
Mhm.
Just because you had enough capital being generated in your business, enough revenue being generated in your business, that you can now hire the experts that will help you collapse time.
Let me tell you, let me tell you a little country boy story.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you a little country boy story. Y'all know I kind of grew up in the country, right? I grew up in Little Fruitport. I grew up in the country. I'm gonna tell you a country boy story. And in at our house, it's not like we had running water, right? But it's well water and that type of thing. But in the back by our garden, we had a hand pump. You had a hand pump, and the water that came out of this hand pump was the coldest, best tasting, natural spring water you'd ever want. I mean, if you got that water out, you could just drink it right out of that pump. But what had to happen in order to get the water to come out the pump, you had to pour water into the pump.
Mm-hmm.
You had to prime the pump.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever got the last bit of water out of the pump had to put it in a can so that the next person that came along could pour the water in the pump in order to get the water to come out. And so what has happened so often is we're trying to pump water out of the pump with no seed water.
And it's dry.
And it's dry. And we're wondering, we're walking around saying this pump is no good. We're saying that the man don't want me to make it. This, that, and the other excuse. But the problem has been that we didn't have any water to prime that pump. Right. And really what capital does, and having the proper amount of capital, allows you to prime that pump. Mm-hmm. But you got to remember something. You always got to reserve some back.
Exactly.
So
you heard what she said. You heard what she said.
20,000
that
year, right? And so that you can continue to prime that pump.
Right.
And the same kind of, I use that analogy for business because I know a lot of times what happens is that we get a little bit of capital.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to really scale.
Right.
It's not really enough to hire people to help us. And so we get limited by our own abilities and our own, it's only so much time in a day.
Right.
But until you got some capital where you can either hire in or resource out.
Right.
So that you can really begin to scale your business.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I'm looking at some of the comments.
I know it is.
Nate Edwards says, thank you as well, Michelle and Tony, for this platform. Creating generational wealth, leaving a legacy is our biggest goal. And we're with you. And I always say this. What I do is one spoke on the wheel. It's not the whole wheel. It's not the whole pie. Right. And so we need the Dr. Ingas. We need the Michelles. We need the Tonys. We need people who are working on a personal credit, business credit. That whole business credit world is a whole thing all by
It's a
itself.
whole nother world. It really is.
And it's like, oftentimes we don't know how to even fix or build our personal credit.
Right.
How many of us know the skills that it takes to build your business credit?
Right.
But if you build that business credit well enough,
Yep.
you won't need to use your personal credit.
That is true.
Now, here's the thing. It's not that you still need that personal credit.
Yes.
You leverage your personal credit in order to utilize your business credit.
Yes.
So it's not like you can just do whatever with your personal credit.
Right.
You leverage it, but you don't use it.
Right.
So I think and one of the things that we didn't really have time to get into that she mentioned that I thought was significant was the real estate.
Yes.
The real estate.
And my tingy bell like ding 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 was going off, right?
So let me just drop you what I know a little bit, Michelle. They have where you can fix and flip. And they also have business credit that you can flip and hold. Maybe make it an Airbnb or those types of things. It really can't be a personal resident, but it could be a fix and flip or a flip and hold. And if you have an Airbnb, I mean, you can go there and stay on your vacations, right? And when you ain't there, you could be Airbnb in it and those type of things. So those are some of the programs that Unlimited Financial is the actual name of it. Unlimited Financial Services that she offers. Again, I want to encourage anyone, if you get a chance to jump on the Zoom. If you want a link, if you want to schedule appointment with Dr. Inga, email me at info@therealmoneycoach. Put in there your, Dr. Inga appointment, your phone number, how I can contact you, and we'll get that on the calendar for you.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that we got to make, she put it right out there, right? It's a pay to play.
It's a pay to play. Everything's a pay to. I mean, y'all, ain't nobody gonna do nothing for your business if you ain't willing to put the skin in. Like,
right.
I don't understand why people are trying to get stuff for free, but that's how the world works. You pay to play.
Right. And non-traditional, it's going to be, it's not like you're going to go to Comerica Bank.
Right.
We don't have Comerica down here, but Bank of America or Wells Fargo, Chase or whoever. This is not that. Right. So there's a consulting fee. You pay the consulting fee, you write the consulting fee out. You now are using other people's money.
Yeah. And y'all, the consulting fee is a deduction in the business.
Right.
It's a deduction. Pay it.
Well, they're going to get it.
Right.
So you just write it off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either.
Well, listen, it was some great information.
Great information. Yeah.
And hopefully, again, if you want more information, reach out to us. And if you want to join that Zoom tonight, you can join that Zoom tonight. Chad, I love what you said. You got to pay the cost to be the boss. Nate Edwards says you got to have skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
And so we know all of that. And so, my thing is a lot of times when you don't have skin in the game, you don't value it as much. But when you put a little skin in the game, you kind of value it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so I think that's also a key there is value what if you got skin in the game, you're not going to waste it.
Right. Exactly.
And I think the other important thing is know what you're doing when you get the funding.
Right. Now, see, that's what she said. Get the expert you need, like to help you manage it. Because if you mess around and mess it up, you're not going to get no more funding. Two, you're not going to get as far as you needed to in your business because you misused the funds.
Absolutely. So check it out. Steven Jackson from New York City, my man, asked if this is recorded so you can watch it later. Listen, that just makes me just want to remind you all to go to YouTube and subscribe to the Real Money Coach YouTube channel. Maybe we could put the link in there so that people just subscribe. So we switch from Thursday to Tuesday. I'm still trying to get used to it. I know y'all is, right? So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, join our private Facebook group, the Real Money Coach community, and we'll communicate. We'll keep those things going. And Stephen, you and I will talk tomorrow. We kind of briefly kind of phone tag a little bit today. So make sure you do that so that we can get this information in your hand and start to, make this the best year ever. 2022. 2022.
Yes.
Listen, 2022. And I do want to just let you guys know that the book launch is coming February 22nd, 2022. It will be a virtual book launch. It's on a Tuesday night. We'll probably start a little earlier, probably start at 7, go from 7 to 9. It's my birthday. We're just going to have a great time. And with the book launch, I Pad Your Money. So looking forward to that. And man, I think that about wraps it up for me tonight. Michelle, any last things you want to say to the group, to the viewers?
Viewers, like, take action. Like, some nuggets were dropped tonight and you need to hear more. So just do something. Like, do something.
And that's important. The one thing that you don't want to do is to sit and do nothing.
Right. Exactly.
Take action. Right.
Action.
So if you're a small business owner and you're struggling with having enough capital, or you want to expand, or you want to scale your business, take a look, and let's make some big things happen in 2022.
That's right.
So that's it tonight for the Real Money Coach. Remember, iHeartRadio on Fridays at 5 p.m. You guys may remember Jay Johnson, Jay's Money Secrets. We're going to be showing an interview or playing an interview with Jay Johnson on Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, have a great night. Glad you were with us. And we'll see you next week on the Real Money Coach Live.